Life is like a box of chocolates.
Horry Sheet, covering the best of Flat Earth and more, cause it's time to wake people up right here, right now.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Horry Sheet Show's Flat Earth Digest, episode 13. In this episode, we teach you how to perform your very own transvestigation, how to eliminate body fat by simply eating yourself like a buffet. You'll discover the best kept secret of this world and the fact that Earth is not a spinning, whirling, twirling ball in outer space. Yeah. Anyway, let's get straight to it. First up, I'm sure you might have heard the fuss about Kyrie Irving backing down from his flat earth beliefs, huh? Well, you might want to think again. It turns out that if you listen to the actual words Kyrie spoke during the interview with these two hosts, well, it sounds like he's trolling them pretty hard. Jaren from the Jeranism channel did a sexy job on this one to clear things up real quick. Way to go, Kyrie. Have a look. The link is down below.
Look,
that's okay. No, that's cool. We just need to make sure.
Here it is. Look, here it is. All I want to do is to be able to have that open conversation. And when I say open, I mean open. Look.
There's no open.
No, but look. Here it is. Here it is. Listen to me. Listen to it.
All right.
Look. So what it did was it was all an exploitation tactic. All it did was it literally spent the world, your guys' world. Spencer spent the world. It spent the world into a frenzy, and it proved exactly what I thought it would do in terms of how all this works.
Next up, this one coming from Click on Detroit, a Dallas news website. They mentioned how Detroit Lions cornerback Darius Slay apparently believes the earth is flat. In an interview between Lions reporter Pettit and Darius Slay, he was asked about the earth being flat via a question submitted by one of his fans, in which he replied, well, you listen to the video, and if you ask me, he's faking it. Listen to the end where she asks him a question he could have had 1,000 great answers to, but he fumbles miserably. Pardon the pun.
This first one is from Luke 6 Hill, and he wants to know your thoughts on, is the earth flat?
Ooh. I mean, I think it is. I feel like it is. We walking flat. So how's it round? Like, I don't get it. It's a tricky question though, but I think it's flat.
Wait, so you've listened to the theories and everything from the NBA players who share this theory?
Yeah, he made some tremendous. He just made me feel good about that. I feel like it's really flat. I think it is. There's no way we can walk around.
So what do you say to the counterpoints that science says that the earth is not flat?
I don't even know what to say to him.
Next up, McDonald delivers an interesting concept. Want to know a bit more about atmospheric refraction? Well, here's his take on it. He talks about how increasing the distance between two objects will vastly increase the amount of gases that you would be observing in the atmosphere while standing at one object, rising in elevation, and viewing the other. He shows you how his glasses create an interesting illusion, and he shares how he believes there could be a reason for us getting a ball-shaped Earth from NASA photos. It seems that this explanation he's giving is fairly different from why we may see a magnification effect when viewing a long-distance object over water. In this video, you get the opposite. Listen to how he relates this to atmospheric gases, and throw him a comment up on his video if it tickles your fancy.
Picture this. If you were standing on the surface of the earth, here, perfectly flat. The whole surface is perfectly flat. As you leave the surface of the earth, eventually, acting as a lens, all the atmospheric refraction, exponentially more of it towards the edges, would give the optical illusion of being on a ball. Just the same way that these glasses give the illusion of that Bodum coffee maker still being in there. Everything stays in there. As I go back further and further and further, it keeps it there. Obviously, this isn't the best prop. This isn't the best example in the world. You can probably come up with a better lens. This is just like a really cheap glass, cheap pair of glasses. But we know the composition of the atmosphere from here down is different all the way over here. So it's like you're looking through a completely different lens there than you would be over there.
Next up, Karen Pettit over at the Sun and Moon Group has been doing a great job when it comes to sharing flat earth goodness and having some great hosts on the panel, some of which include Aaron Krieshok. He's been making quite a splash lately, and he was on Karen's panel recently talking about Project Lumen. It's his idea for a think tank that uses our best tools to tackle some real issues in a transparent, think tanky type of way. And of course, he puts it in much better words. In fact, I'll let him explain it to you in a sec, but I'm standing behind this one because it's something that really needs to happen at some point. We all need to be working together and coming together on a different type of network, a different platform. And I think that, you know, this type of network or platform that's being described here by Aaron with Project Lumen is worth looking into. It's still in its infancy, but go sign up to receive updates and see what you can do to contribute. Thanks to Karen and the gang at the Sun and Moon Group for this great podcast. Have a listen, you guys.
So basically, Project Lumen is an initiative that I've been working on for quite a number of years, most of my life. The basic idea is to create solutions for the world. Also, it has to do with identifying the problems and also addressing the problems. So basically, there's a number of initiatives that we're trying to kind of collect and organize, some of which are kind of identifying the problems, putting together evidence and sort of cases against some of these establishment organizations, and then the other main part of it is the solutions themselves, which are varied and very broad, and so it deals with various things. I'll go through it here. This is just a little bit of, so I just kind of threw this up. So here's the mission statement. I'll go ahead and read it. It says, Project Lumen is dedicated to directing the manifestation of a sovereign Earth nation that will use the highest application of technology, the transparent and open collaboration of its tribe, and our mutual observation of the world and natural law in order to guide ourselves into the realization of a truly free and open society.
Karen also did a podcast recently with the creators of Flat Revival magazine, and a link for that one will be down below as well. Next up is a real treat from ODD and Devin Madgy that you'll really want to watch in its entirety for sure, because it covers all kinds of ground. About 10 minutes into this one, he talks about, now, you ready for this? Going to the North Pole. Yes, he's attempting to fund a project called the SEAL Project. He'll be coming out starting next month with some vlogs and regular updates detailing what they are doing both physically and spiritually to actually make a trip to the North Pole, to the very place the ancient maps show, or at least as close as they can get to it. They were going to fund a plane, but then they started worrying about pollution and stuff, so they're actually going to attempt to sail to the North Pole just like Olaf Jansen went. In this nearly 2-hour-long podcast, ODD talks with Devin Madgy about the old maps and the layouts of the continents, especially the four surrounding the North Pole. They spoke of Admiral Byrd's journey and his diary a bit, Hollow Earth theory, Adam and Eve, Shambhala, duality, the Garden of Eden. It's jam-packed with thought-provoking information. Devin Madgy comes at Flat Earth in a much different way, and, well, you just can't rule anything out at this point. If you're here and you're listening to this, you either think I'm completely crazy, or you know Earth is not a spinning ball in space and there's more to it. They even went into CERN and the Mandela effect and what they may be doing to alter the fabric of time. Oh, and have you ever heard of the energy extraction matrix? Devin Madgy explains his theory about a quote-unquote matrix and how it relates to the energy extraction matrix. He explains the matrix as a playground for the mind of God, and within this matrix there may be another illusion placed, one that exists to suck you dry, a system aiming to infect your mind and spirit, basically. Listen to his brief explanation here, and be sure to catch this one on ODD's channel. Be sure to sign up to get email updates as well, and see what you can do to help fund the SEAL Project. Links will be down below.
So we are in an energetic enslavement system, and this is one that I call the energy extraction matrix. And I use this word to differentiate the matrix and this false matrix. So first, let me explain what the matrix is. We are all in the matrix. The matrix is this holographic realm we're in, Earth. It's what our minds interact with, and it's one of the many bubbles of God. What's been called source or God or the pleroma in the Gnostic tales, these names all refer to the origin point of creation. And what this means is beyond language. We cannot tie down God as having a gender or a shape or a form, because as soon as we do, we're masking its majesty with structure. So the only way to describe God would be to use the word source. It's the source of everything. I
Makes
believe
sense.
it was Manly P. Hall who said, we are the gods of the atoms that make up ourselves, but we are also the atoms of the gods that make up the multiverse. And this is simply putting, like I said, we are fractalized versions of God, every single one of us. Source breaks itself up into fragments that we call oversouls. Those break into souls, and then we're now currently in this realm. We descend into this matrix called Earth.
Ready for a good old flat earth versus round earth debate with some folks you may have not heard of before? Well, then you want to check out this next video. In the beginning of this one, they attempt to work out what exactly the flat earth model is before they debated it a bit. So they talk about things like Antarctica and, you know, the ice wall and gravity and all the preliminary things. It sounded like the Glober in this debate may have thought that she was a believer of the Flat Earth Society because he asked Holly if she believed gravity was due to Earth rising up. He believed several of the myths apparently as well, because he asked the questions about, you know, bullets and the Coriolis effect and toilet water and stuff spinning in one direction versus the other, depending on which part of the world you live in. They talked a lot about the Foucault's pendulum and what supposedly makes it spin the way it does. The Glober of this discussion asked several pertinent questions, and Holly had great answers for everything. The thing is, you really need to research each of these topics yourself very deeply if you're new to Flat Earth and attempting to prove the ball. And when you do research each individual thing, you answer a lot of these questions for yourself. I mean, look, I really do think that it's super silly to present some of these things to a debate. For example, the water going down sinks clockwise or counterclockwise. That has nothing to do with being in the northern or southern hemisphere of the world. The water goes down the sink clockwise or counterclockwise depending on how you pour the water in it and maybe how the sink is shaped, and nothing more. People have made videos showing this and debunking it. The debate, for the most part, ended up with Holly teaching him a whole lot of things about the flat earth model. So I really hope he does, and he goes and researches it a bit, so he knows what we're talking about. He bit the mainstream bait, hook, line, and sinker. And I really hope Holly keeps it up, because I love to see this kind of thing, and especially from someone I've not seen before in the flat earth community. Great job showing him that he bases a lot of his beliefs on theories and myths. Check out this brief snippet of this one, and the link will be down below.
I really don't have very many other questions. I think it's really mostly about, for me, it's about making predictions and then seeing whether they come true.
And
Right.
the predictions that you make are from is from the flat Earth model. Those predictions are not from the heliocentric model. If you study the heliocentric model in depth on your own, take the time to actually study it, go back, research the early astronomers. I don't understand why you think that these predictions are coming from the heliocentric model.
Well,
it's not
NASA
even
believes
possible.
NASA believes in the heliocentric
No,
model.
NASA knows exactly what's going on, or else they would not be able to predict the eclipses. Okay, I mean, where are you getting this from? Just because you read this online or something? I mean, look into this yourself and see if you can predict yourself with the star charts. Okay, and what's been documented for thousands of years. That's where the predictions come from. How do you think NASA's making these predictions?
I have a link.
With mathematical equations of algorithms?
No. I have
They're
a
making
link.
these they're making the predictions from the documentation that has been made over thousands of years of the predicted paths of the sun, the moon, and the stars. That's where the predictions are coming from. They're not coming from mathematical and algorithms. What has already been documented and predicted.
So that would be something that I would have to check on my own time. But
Dude,
I mean,
that would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
yeah,
And
I
your
don't have time to
questions
do
have
that
been,
on
your
stream.
questions have been excellent. Yeah, you've had excellent questions, very good questions. And I wish I could have answered them better. I did the best I could, and I do appreciate your questions and your thought into this, and very enlightening.
All right, Badger, did you have like people on the chat that wanted to ask questions?
Here's something interesting that was mentioned on a GlobeBusters episode recently. A pilot by the name of Lydia was sent to a psychiatrist because she mentioned flat Earth during a flight. The beginning of this one explains her story a bit, but suffice to say, this is probably why pilots are not speaking up about it, okay? No pilot wants to lose their job, plain and simple. Pardon the pun again. But anyway, skip on ahead in the same episode here. Somebody has to explain this one to me because it doesn't make any sense. If you make a great circle route across the equator with the line tool on Google Earth, it seems to do some funny things. Listen to Jaren explain this anomaly and watch another nail go right into the globe coffin.
My great circle route is the equator here. Now, as I start to move just a few miles, so from here it's the equator, but then as I just start to take my location up a little bit, look how the great circle route is changing, so that by the time I'm here, you know, how much did I move? And I'm already, now the great circle route is, instead of the equator, is way up here. And then if I just move it a little bit more, then now I'm going over the North Pole. So I was kind of confused as to why that would be happening. Why could this distance change cause my great circle route to change so drastically? But then if you look at the flat Earth map and you actually draw that line between Ecuador and one of these locations, as you go up, it's just a straight line shot. I would have to pull up a flat Earth map, but you know, it's just like your line is moving slightly to the right. It's a straight shot and moving slightly to the right, whereas this is making it look so drastic. So I always find things like that interesting.
Next up, real quick, is another one by Jaren. And listen, if you still believe that NASA is on something called the ISS and it's in space, then you need to critically examine this footage, because if you can't tell that this is bubbles, then you're probably not fit for the truth movement, okay? Hit it.
Come your way a little bit. Okay.
All right, so now we'll zoom in close, and remember there will be two separate little bursts. Now some people may say, well, those are just little particles or little ice pieces. Well, then they should orbit with the ISS as they are falling around the planet, just like the ISS. There's no reason for ice particles or air bubbles or dust or anything to fly rapidly out of the airlock door at rapid paces. I mean, they're not being shot out of the door. What's going on here? They should not rise rapidly to the surface. Many people will then say, but they didn't rise up. They went off to the side. Well, yes, but we can just take the video, as I'll do right now, and turn it to the left, and now all of a sudden, the bubbles, or particles, or whatever you want to call them, rise straight up to the surface as things in water generally do.
The rest of that video shows even more craziness from the people running that clown show, so go ahead and check it out. Now, here is something that's going to be pretty epic. It's called the Flat Earth Network, and it's going to be spearheading the change that will take Flat Earth out of the echo chamber. It's going to be the best curated Flat Earth content that you're going to find, or you can go back to the ball. More information will be released as it begins to launch, and a link will of course be down below. And speaking of Flat Earth flavored networks launching, this one reaches me by way of GlobeExit on Twitter. There's something called the International Ops Network coming too. It's set to launch here on the 10th of October 2017, so be looking for that one as well. I don't have a whole lot of information on either of these, but I'll be taking a look at them both from time to time, and I'll keep you updated. Well, everybody, that's all the Flat Earth stuff that I've got for you on episode 13. I'm going to be focusing my efforts now back onto my free Fiverr and work at home video series that I've been doing here for a while, and that means that episode 14 of the Flat Earth Digest will be taking a bit longer, and it will be more jam-packed with the best of the best. I gotta say, there's tons of stuff to go through, and I don't have all the time to go through it. So if you think I missed something epic in the Flat Earth movement, I'll be sure to highlight it on one of my next shows. Just email me at HorrySheetProductions@gmail.com. And listen, before I go, I want to let you all know that they're censoring me and my channel. They know what a production like this is capable of, and they want to make sure the Horry Sheet Show is hard to find in any of the search results. Facebook has already started restricting me from posting in Facebook groups. I posted this wonderful picture of a rug on my Facebook page and shared it to just 2 of my favorite Flat Earth groups, and by the time I shared it to the third group, I got a message from Facebook saying that this post looked like spam, and I was restricted for posting for a week. As soon as I got unrestricted, I shared my episode 12 to a few Flat Earth groups and got restricted for 14 days straight. I still can't post. So if you want to see more of this show, help me share it and help me get it out there. I could go around the system and create tons of sock accounts, but I'm not all about that. I'm not going to try that hard. I'm not getting anything out of making this show except for knowing that it's helping all the people who thank me for the time it's saving them. And that's been motivation enough. But without me being able to share it, I have to rely on you guys now. So please post this show to your favorite Flat Earth group every once in a while if you'd like to see more episodes. And of course, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of my new ones. I'm here to wake people up. Who is really with me? A huge thanks goes out to Conspiracy Music Guru on YouTube for another amazing song, this one titled Puppet Show. Enjoy.
Well, let me tell you something about the space station. It's only really there in your imagination. That thing ain't real, it's science fiction. It's there to feed your space addiction. Those astronauts are not in space. It's written all over their stupid face. See, I can spot a lie from 100 miles, and I can spot a fraud from the way they smile. Didn't you learn nothing from the fake moon mission? That puppet show from President Nixon. Well, listen up, they're doing it again, it seems. Check out the harnesses and green screens. I used to work a lot in film and TV. I know a bit about the television trickery to create the illusion that you're somewhere that you're not. A green screen is what you're gonna use a lot. Or if you wear a harness and attach it to the ceiling, the illusion that you're floating is what they'll be believing. All you're watching is a puppet show, yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the human race. So let me tell you something about a zero-G plane. This thing flies up and then down again. Some weird stuff happens if you're on the inside. You start to float as the plane takes a dive. Simply add an actor that's trained to deceive, and you got yourself an astronaut, or so you believe. Plane flies up and that's everyone's cue. Then action, we got some deceiving to do. Plane flies down and then everyone knows to start the ISS live show. Floating in a plane with zero-G, but you only see astronauts on your TV. All you're watching is a puppet show, yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the human race. Well, another thing I noticed when I looked at these fools, they're filming spacewalks in buoyancy pools. NASA's gonna tell you that it's just for training, to practice for space station maintaining. Well, I thought about that, but if that's the case, then why the hell can I see bubbles in space? Take a hard look at the next spacewalk. Tell me if you can see bubbles at all. Open your eyes, man, I'll bet you a quarter. Those spacewalks are filmed underwater. I can see space bubbles everywhere. Hey, NASA, how the hell did those get there? All you're watching is a puppet show, yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the human race. So when you see an astronaut aboard the ISS, take another look at your TV set. They're pretty good at faking, so you gotta look close. Pay some attention to the way the actor floats. If you ask me, that ain't zero gravity, but Hollywood effects that I see on my TV. Take a good look at the whole damn thing. These lying bastards are just puppets on a string. It's all a big science fiction puppet show. The game's up, assholes, cause we all know. Thanks for the show, NASA. It's been a blast. Now take your fake station and shove it up your... All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the whole human race. All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're just actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the whole human race, man. All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space. No, you're not, you're lying to the whole human race. All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Astronauts, they're just actors, of course, and yeah, they all get paid. Look at me, ma, I'm floating in space.
If you like it, share the sheet.
Don't let those no money blues get you down.